Hello class. Today we're looking at lesson 6-1, angle measures. The objective of today's lesson is to be able to write and solve equations to find unknown angle measures. So the first thing we need to know is some of our vocabulary. New vocabulary words that we will be looking at today are angle, acute angle, right angle, obtuse angle, straight angle, complementary, supplementary, adjacent angles, vertical angles, and congruent angles. So let's start with what an angle is. An angle is a figure formed by two rays with a common end point. You can call the angle below to the left, right here, angle DCE. It could go the other direction, angle ECD. We could just call it angle C or angle 1. And you'll notice the vertex is where the two rays come together. That center point is called the vertex. You can classify angles by their measures. The four different types of angles are as follows: an acute, a right, an obtuse, and a straight angle. An acute angle is an angle that is between 0 and 90 degrees. I think of this as a cute angle, like a cute little puppy. It's small. So an acute angle is small. A right angle has a straight line up, a straight line to the side, and the center area is usually marked with that square, showing it is exactly 90 degrees, and that is called a right angle. The next angle we're looking at is an obtuse. This one is going to be between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. Obtuse. Obtuse angles are big angles, okay? They're going to be more than 90 degrees. A straight angle is exactly 180 degrees. A straight line would be a straight angle. If the sum of the measures of two angles is 90 degrees, the angles are complementary. If the sum of the measures is 180 degrees, the angles are supplementary. So those are two other vocabulary. Complementary equals 90 degrees. Supplementary equals 180 degrees. So if we look down here, we have the angle 51 degrees and the angle 39 degrees. If we add those numbers together, 51 plus 39 is going to equal 90 degrees. Therefore, they are complementary. We have 65 degrees plus 115 degrees. If we add those together, our total is going to be 180, which makes them supplementary. Adjacent angles are angles that share a vertex and a side but have no interior points in common. Angles 1 and 2 are adjacent angles. So we're looking at this figure right here, and it says that they have to share the vertex, so we know that this is the vertex, and a side, so this side is the same. but they have no interior points in common. So this is one angle, this is another angle. Those are adjacent angles. Now looking at an example, finding supplements and complements. Settling of the ground causes Italy's Leaning Tower of Pisa to tilt. The diagram on page 216 describes the angles the tower makes with the ground. Find the measures of these angles. Look at this picture we have right here of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It shows the two angles are adjacent supplementary angles. So right adjacent, we know that they share the same vertex and they have a line in common. Supplementary, we know that they equal 180. So we can write an equation by setting the sum of the degree measures equal to 180. So if we look right here, this angle is equal to 2x degrees. And this angle is going to be equal to 3x minus 35 degrees. So therefore we can set up the equation because we know that this one plus this one is equal to 180. So you can see the equation they set here. So we go through and look at how we can combine like terms. So the first thing, using the commutative property, we realize that you can switch the terms around. Therefore, we want to get the x's together. So let's put the 2x in front of the equation. So that's what we did as far as using the commutative property. Use the associative property. So 2x and 3x both have x's. They're like terms. So we'll add those together. So then we combine like terms, and that's going to give us 5x minus 35 equals 180. We want to get x, isolate x by itself. So to do that, we want to get rid of the negative or subtract 35. The opposite of subtracting 35 is adding 35. When we add 35 to a negative 35, we get 0. Therefore, we're left with 5x on this side of the equation. And on the other side, we are looking at 180 plus 35. That gives us a total of 215. We now have 5x equals 215. We want to get x by itself. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. When we divide one side by 5, we have to divide the other side by 5. That leaves us with x equals 43. So we now know what x equals, but that does not tell us what the angles are, because this angle is 2x and this one is 3x minus 35. So we need to plug 43 into both of those equations to actually calculate the angles. When we do that, 3 times 43 minus 35 gives us 94. So one of the angles is 94 degrees, and 2 times 43 equals 86, which is 86 degrees. The other angle is 86. Let's look at this multiple choice. If angle A and angle B are complementary, what does complementary mean? It means that it equals 90 degrees. And angle A is 5 times angle B. What is angle B? A, 15 degrees, B, 18 degrees, C, 30 degrees, D, 36 degrees. Let's take a look at what kind of equation we can set up to understand how to solve this. So angle A is 5 times angle B. So if we do 5 times x plus x equals the complementary, which is 90 degrees. We're going to go ahead and combine like terms. 5x plus x is going to equal 6x equals 90 degrees. We want to isolate x. 6 times x equals 90. The opposite of multiplying is dividing, so therefore we'll want to divide both sides by 6. When you divide 6x by 6, you're left with x. 90 divided by 6 equals x equals 15. So therefore, when we look up here, the measurement of B is 15 degrees, so the correct answer was A. Let's do a quick check to see how we are understanding this. Go ahead and pause the video and try to do questions 1 and 2 on your own. When you feel like you have the right answer, go ahead and press play. Welcome back. Write and solve an equation to find the measures of the two angles described at the right. So we have angle B, angle A. So we want to put together an equation. So if you look right here at this box, you'll see the equation that was put together was 13x plus 11x plus 60 equals 180. And we know that because this is a straight line that we have right here, which equals 180 degrees. So we're going to combine like terms. 13x plus 11x is going to equal 24x plus 60. You want to isolate the x, so let's get rid of the 60, subtract 60 from each side. That leaves you with 24x equals 120. When we divide 120 by 24, dividing each side by 24, we end up with x equals 5. That's not the complete answer because as you look over here, these angles have numbers that are being multiplied by x and even in fact adding to. So we need to plug the 5 into each of these equations to be able to get the angles. So in this box, you can see we did 13 times x. X is 5. 13 times 5 equals 65 degrees. And 11 times 5 plus 60 equals 115. Therefore, 65 is the answer and 115 is the other answer. These are degrees. My computer doesn't really have a little dot that you can do, but you should be putting the degree mark by those. Our next two vocabulary words are vertical angles and congruent angles. Angles 1 and 2, and you can see here's 1 and 2, are vertical angles. Vertical angles are formed by two intersecting lines and are opposite each other. Vertical angles have equal measures. Angles with equal measures are congruent angles. let's look at an example of finding angle measures. So, a runway design. In the diagram of a runway layout for Charles B. Wheeler Downtown Airport in Kansas City, Missouri, measure angle 1 equals 25.7 degrees. Find the measurements of angle 2, 3, and 4. So to do that, we're looking over at this example. We were given angle 1, and angle 1 is equal to 25.7 degrees. So we can see that this is a straight line. So therefore, angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary, which means they equal 180. So we also can see angle 4 and angle 1 equal 180. We just learned that the angles opposite of each other have the same degree measurement. Therefore, whatever angle 2 is, it's going to be equal to angle 4. So what we did is we are going to take 180 and subtract 25.7. That's going to equal 154.3. 154.3 is going to be the angle of both measurement 4 and measurement angle 2. We also said that the opposites are the measurements of the opposites are the same. So we know that measurement 1 is 25.7 degrees. Therefore, measurement of angle 3 is also 25.7 degrees. Moving on to the quick check. In the diagram at the left, angle 8 equals 72 degrees. Find the measurements of angle 5, 6, and 7. Go ahead and pause here and try to solve this on your own. Once you have your answer, check back in with me. Welcome back. To solve this, I took 180 degrees because I know that this line is 180 degrees and I know that this line is 180 degrees. And I subtract it from 72, which is the degree measurement of angle 8. Well, looking at it, I know that angle 6 is a congruent angle with angle 8. And what we learned earlier was that that meant that they have the same degree measurements. Therefore, if angle 8 equals 72, then angle 6 also equals 72 degrees. And so taking 180 and subtracting it from 72, we are going to get 108. So angle 7 and angle 5 are both congruent, which means they have the same degree measurement. So that means that both of these are going to be 108. There are more than one way to get the answer. Looking at Carlos's method and Brianna's method. So they are given the equation or the information of the measurement of angle 1 equals 140 degrees and measurement 2 equals 40 degrees. Carlos says that angle 3 and angle 1 are across from each other, so they are vertical angles. Since vertical angles have the same measurement, angle 3 equals angle 1. Therefore, angle 3 equals 140 degrees. He is correct. And then we look at Brianna's method. She says angle 2 and angle 3 together form a straight line, so their measures add up to 180 degrees. This means they are supplementary angles. So Brianna takes the measurement 40 degrees and adds it to the measurement of the unknown angle 3 equals 180 degrees. She wants the unknown to be by itself, therefore she subtracts 40 from each side, which gives her 140. So the measurement of angle 3 equals 140, which is also correct. Let's take a look at our assignment. So number 1 says, how are vertical angles and adjacent angles different? So vertical angles lie opposite each other. Angle 3 and angle 1 are vertical angles. Angle 4 and angle 2 are vertical angles across from each other, and they have the same degree measurements. However, adjacent angles lie next to each other. Angle 2 and angle 3 are adjacent. Angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent. Angle 4 and angle 1 are adjacent. Angle 4 and angle 3 are adjacent. Looking at number 2, what is the sum of the measures of the 4 angles formed by intersecting lines? So looking at all 4 of these, we know that these 2 angles together equal 180, these 2 equal 180. And it could be this direction also, 2 and 3, 4 and 1. 180 plus 180 equals 360 degrees. A circle also measures 360 degrees. Your assignment for today is going to be numbers 3 all the way through 13. Before you start on your lesson, you should have also received 2 links to Khan Academy lessons. Please watch those lessons before completing page 218, number 3 through 13. You also have the assignment in IXL for 7th grade W.16. 7th grade W.16. I need everyone to also log into Schoolology this week. Most of you have an account set up already. Please let me know if you're having any trouble getting into that account so that we can get you set up. Schoolology is going to be where you will see your weekly assignments. There'll be links to the videos, and you'll be able to submit your work by taking a picture with a phone and then uploading it to Schoolology. We'll talk about how that's done later in the week after I get you logged in. Have a great week, and I look forward to seeing some comments from you on Schoolology.